Let's go to Omaha. I was in Nebraska once. They asked me what could I see from the press box, and I said Colorado. So Brian Tripp joins us. Welcome.
Steve, great to be with you. Joining you live from Charles Schwab Field. Team just arrived here, taking a little tour, checking it out. It's a little dreary, though, today. Not the nicest day.
That's okay. It's a great ballpark, though.
Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful ballpark. I mean, spectacular.
Yeah, I think it's great that they moved it there. I think, I know they move it around, but to put it there and with a College World Series kind of feel and atmosphere to it, I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Indianapolis would be a good home, too, just so it's a little more centralized. Columbus was a good home when they were playing at the Clippers home there, but just coming in here and seeing the branding up on the walls, and it has a feel of a big event, and it feels like it's the Big Ten's event, and I think it's really special. It gives a unique feel to it, and then as you said, obviously being at the home of the College World Series is a great baseball town. This will be fun for the players, and I'm glad they're having the opportunity to soak it in and experience the moment and the memories, because they've worked really hard to get here.
It's been a long road for Penn State to get back to this. What kind of we'll do this in two parts. Number one, What kind of accomplishment is it for the program to get back on track and make this tournament?
Yeah, I think it's a big milestone to reach this point, and it's something they've worked really hard at. They've developed a really strong culture the last couple of years under Coop, and they've really done it this year by everyone pulling their own weight and understanding what their role may be. And it's a team effort. This is a good conference with 13 baseball teams. To finish in the top 8 is hard, and not only to do that, to finish 6th, you're in the top half of the league. It's hard to do when you have programs. Indiana's been on a roll. Purdue had some really good teams back around 2008, 2009, 10, 11, 12. Illinois, and then Maryland joining the Big Ten, and Eric Bakich really did a nice job with them before going to Michigan, and that's a team that's been in the College World Series and the national championship game against Vanderbilt a couple of years ago. So this is a pretty good conference. To get to the top half of the league, it's hard, and I think it's a really nice milestone for them. Now they get to experience this, and then once you're here and you taste it,
right? That's my next question.
To the next step. Yep.
Yeah, that's my next question. Okay. This is a great accomplishment. So that feels great going out of the plane. Now when you get there, it's like, look around, you know what? All right, let's do something with it.
Yeah, and it's interesting, too. The way they build the bracket is in 2 separate brackets. So the 4 teams, you only have to worry about 3 other teams until you would get to a championship game. So Penn State will play Iowa in the first game of the tournament, and then the second game of the tournament is Purdue taking on Rutgers, and 2 teams that I think Penn State matches up really, really well against and has had success against both those teams already this year. So it's double elimination among your own bracket, and then if you get to Sunday, that's when you play the 1-game championship. So it's a little bit interesting how they format it, and I think they're confident against all 3 teams that are in their little component there. They're half of the 8-team overall bracket.
All right, so now let's get to Iowa. Iowa is an okay matchup in some ways. And no better than okay. But over 9 innings, I mean, let's. How does Coop want to? He is part of the buy-in has been that he's convinced every pitcher that, hey, look, just trust us. Okay, I know you want to know if you're the Friday, Saturday, Sunday guy. But trust us, it's going to be moving parts, and they have. So in the moving parts, who goes first tomorrow?
Well, I think that's between Tyler Shingledecker and Travis Lunsman. And then that way you're deciding between a righty or a lefty, what's a better matchup against the Iowa lineup. So I still think it's something to be determined, even at this point. I think they may be starting to lean one way, and then you start to look at some other analytics and stats, and we'll go back the other way. Iowa uses a lot of different lineups. They just have guys in and out, but there are a couple of key cogs, and one's a huge left-handed hitting first baseman, Peyton Williams, and the other guy is Keaton Anthony, who's one of the best freshmen in the league, and I think he just won Big Ten Freshman of the Year, and he's hit 5 home runs in his last 5 games. So there's 2 big guys in that lineup you have to keep in the ballpark, and this is a pitcher's ballpark. It is a big yard. especially depending on which way the wind is blowing. If you can keep them in the park and then keep the other guys off the bases, I think you can have success against that lineup. But you're right. It's total buy-in from everyone in that pitching staff. And in a tournament setting, sometimes that's a good thing because you need to find enough innings not only to win the first game, but the second game, third game, fourth game, fifth game if you could play 5. And then you have guys that may be rested. You aren't throwing one person 110 total pitches and he's burnt out for the rest of the week.
Right.
And you can play the matchups that the opponent creates for you. So I think it's a good way to go about it, and I think it works in your favor when you get into a postseason setting like this.
The other part, too, is when you get to a postseason setting like this, and a lot of times it can be a one and done, all hands are on deck. But because you know you've got another game to play, all hands can't be on deck, so you got to be smart about how you do this.
Yeah, no doubt about that, and I think that's where the depth of the staff comes in. Mason Malott, Jordan Morales have grown really well, and they've all been – look, the last couple of weeks, they've done a really nice job. Jordan Morales started the game on Saturday against Illinois. He hadn't started all season, so you gave him a taste of that role in case he is someone that would have to start a game for you here. Kellen Tulio, Tommy Molsky, they've started Big Ten games for Penn State this year. They've come in out of the bullpen in high leverage spots. So I think the depth of the pitching staff really can be something that helps you in that spot, and they've done a great job of finding different arms to use in different such as Stephen Miller. He's been a starter and he's been a reliever. So you can say that about anyone. So nothing should be, albeit on a bigger stage, nothing should be unfamiliar for these guys, no matter what that role is that they're asked upon in this tournament setting.
All right, so it's going to be at 10 a.m., which means it's a 9 a.m. Central start tomorrow. No
team's better prepared for it than this team because they've played morning games the last 3 weekends.
Exactly. Because it's not that they're playing at 9. That's not it. You and I both know, Brian, but when you're around this all the time, there is a timetable, and the key is when do you eat? All right? Mm-hmm. And they want to make sure they eat. I'm going to guess they want them eating 3 hours before the game with baseball as opposed to maybe 4 for football. But, and basketball can be about, Michael will have them go about 2:45 to 3:30 before a game. Yep. That means up at 5:30, eating at 6, and then going with it. I mean, so, how have they responded when they've been in this spot?
I think they've been really good. This seems like a group that's not really bothered by a whole lot. They kind of just go with the flow. And I'm interested to see how they do handle it tomorrow. The one thing I will say is weather may be an issue here the first 2 days. So the early starts may get pushed back. And I'll tell you, that's where it's really good to be the first game because you don't have to sit around and wait all day and watch the other teams and wonder when they're going to finish. Are they going to finish? Are they going to reach the cutoff? You're the first game. So whenever it's time to play, you get to play. So if the weather's an issue, that I think works in their favor being the first game too.
Matt Wood obviously gets first team All Big Ten. I think should have been the player of the year. But in watching him, and you and I were up there, was it Friday night? I was up there with you for a little bit.
Yep. Friday.
Every time I'm watching him, this is what I see: an absolute repeatable swing. He does not change his swing. He has a repeatable swing, and it's a beautiful swing to watch.
Oh, it's so smooth, and he can take the ball to all fields. He's very good in any situation, and I just think he's such a smart baseball player. But the smoothness, it's not a violent swing. It's a calm swing. It's long through the zone. He can hit to all fields. He can hit with power if he needs to. But I think that consistency of his swing and the smoothness, as you said, it's just repeatable. He's athletic. He's strong. He's not the biggest guy, but he's really put together for a guy his size. He's the real deal. And to do it while catching, which we've talked about, is just so incredibly impressive. And I think the other thing, and this is all due respect to Josh Spiegel, Jay Harry, Johnny Piacentino, Cole Bartles, who had really good years, but you take him out of the lineup and, I don't know where this team's at. And I don't know that you can say that about anyone else in the Big Ten with what his sole impact meant defensively at catcher and his impact in the lineup means to one individual team.
All right, well, I'm asking this question with all due respect to the guys around him. Are you surprised he has not been pitched around more in the last 3-4 weeks?
Well, we're starting to see it a little bit, but I think Josh Spiegel and his ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark and his last 3-4 weeks has given Matt that protection to line up. And not only Josh, I would add Johnny Piacentino and then Billy Gerlach to that as well. I think because of the way they have finished, it's caused teams to recognize that, hey, maybe we do have to give in to him because these guys behind us are going to make us pay. And Matt's an excellent base runner, too, as a catcher. And he'll also be patient to not get himself out. So if you're going to pitch around him, he'll take the walk. He's not a hitter that is going to chase a hittable but bad pitch that he can't drive somewhere and get himself out by rolling one over to the right side of the infield, something like that, which is really good about his discipline, speaks to his what he means to like a team approach at the plate, too. And he's not afraid to pass the baton.
Let me ask you about the weather part of it, because that's going to be important as to how this plays out. Because so what does it look like the next 2 days there? Is it spotty showers? Is it something that could be steady? What is it?
Well, right now it's steady rain all day today. Steady rain continuing into the morning. The question is, how much of a window will it be tomorrow to play? And also, I think you're looking at how much rain, and this field should take plenty of rain. They're used to it here.
Yeah.
But how much time it would take them to get the field ready when it does stop raining. But right now it looks like we are in for a soaker all day today, into tomorrow, and even a chance of showers continuing to Thursday. The good thing is the schedule for Friday is really light, so if they just had to push it back a day, you probably could squeeze the first 2 days in. Wednesday moves to Thursday, Thursday moves to Friday.
Sure.
But then there wouldn't be that break day in there for the teams that are in the championship bracket, which I actually think would benefit Penn State because they're pitching depth.
Brian, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Enjoyed spending time with you on Friday night.
Oh, it was the best. It was the best. We got rave reviews.
Well, we did. Oh, really? So both the listeners loved it.
Yeah, my mom and dad really enjoyed it.
I also got a note from Mario Andretti, who also, he says, I grew up near we live near the Tripp, Love the broadcast.
All right, have a good one.
All right, thanks, Brian.
See ya. Bye.